One of the Tate brothers' lawyers mentioned you by name. Do you plan to get involved with the extradition challenge that they have been?
Mention me by name?
Our Romanian case is on a prosecutor's desk. If the prosecutor closes the case, Romania owes me $1 billion. And I did a podcast with Candace Owens about that because even she said this is insane. You know what he did? He wrote to the Brits saying, do you want me to arrest him and send him to you? You got an active warrant. Do you want me to send him to you? I'll come get him and send him to you. He wrote to the Brits.
The U.S. Secretary of State, who several media outlets say could play a key role in any decision about Andrew Tate's extradition, has now been questioned about the situation, and that response is sparking major attention across social media. Reports claim they no longer have any real role in deciding what happens next, and that doesn't appear likely to change anytime soon.
They have been.
Mention me by name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, look, that extraditions, I don't know the details of this particular case. I've been overseas, but I mean, I know who you're talking about. I just don't know the details of it. These cases have a process that they go through in the courts. My understanding is that they're involved in that judicial process. And so that'll play itself out at this point. And there's no role for us to play at this moment or maybe ever in that regard. But I'm not going to opine on something that's still working through a legal process.
Right now, the situation is being viewed by some observers as a sign that President Trump may not stand in the way if the Tate brothers are extradited to the United Kingdom. According to reports, the U.S. president is not expected to intervene to block their return after they were arrested in Miami in connection with 2 alleged sex-related misconduct cases. Online, many are calling this a huge setback for Andrew Tate. Over the years, he has repeatedly said in podcasts and interviews that the legal cases against him are politically motivated.
Turns out Kamala admits that we moved the fucking needle. That is a flex, bro.
He's also developed high-profile connections in the United States, but at this stage, there is no clear sign that any of those connections can influence the legal process, even if they wanted to. From what's being reported, Trump also appears to be staying out of the situation completely. Now, people across social media are saying there may be only one person or maybe even one country left that could still make a difference for Andrew Tate. And if you watch the new 3-hour podcast Andrew Tate just released, one particular comment immediately got people talking online. During the conversation, he claimed he had made what he described as a chess-like move that could prevent the UK from extraditing him. That is his own claim, and it has already sparked plenty of debate as people try to figure out exactly what he meant.
I think the Brits are in a quagmire because, like Moby Dick, in their haste to get hold of me, they didn't quite understand the complexities of extradition and also the brutal inefficiency of Romanian law. Because the Brits tried to extradite me, and the warrant has been satisfied. I will be extradited when my Romanian case is complete. Our Romanian case is on a prosecutor's desk. If the prosecutor closes the case, Romania owes me $1 billion. So it's in the prosecutor's interest to keep the case open on his desk, a case he can't fix, until he retires. Because if he closes it, they owe me $1 billion. And the UK can't get me as long as that case is open. The UK are pissed, calling the Romanians saying, close the case if you don't have a case. And the Romanians are saying, we're not saying we don't have a case, we're saying it's difficult to fix, but we're going to try because if they close it, they owe me $1 billion.
That comment is one of the biggest reasons this story keeps grabbing attention. Every new interview, podcast clip, public statement, or legal update seems to send the online conversation in a different direction. One moment people think the situation is changing, and the next, a new report has everyone questioning what comes next. Supporters are pointing to Andrew Tate's statement as a sign that he may still have a strategy left.
Okay, when James Altmaier wrote to them, we're like, we can't technically do that legally because we've already tried to extradite him and the extradition warrant has been satisfied. So now what happens? When I fly around the world, like I was just in Hong Kong, is that the Foreign Office of the UK call the hotel and try and get me kicked out of the hotel. That's how petty and pathetic they are. The owner of the Rosewood Hong Kong, which is the top-ranked hotel in the world, by the way, number one, it won in 2026 the best hotel in the world. The owner of the hotel is a friend of mine. And he came to me and said, you will not believe the British government just called me and told me that you're a criminal and that you have an active extradition warrant out of Romania and that we should kick you out of this hotel. I said, the British government has time to call hotels and try and make me, I mean, what does that do? It doesn't extradite me. It just inconveniences me. I have to go get another hotel. They are spending government money trying to inconvenience me by getting me kicked out of hotels because they can't extradite me because the Romanians won't close the case because then the Romanians owe me money because I haven't done anything.
Critics, meanwhile, argue that the bigger question is whether any public support or well-known connections can actually influence the legal process. As the extradition discussion continues, people online are watching every new detail closely and treating each development as if it could change everything. For now, nothing has been officially decided. The claims, reactions, legal developments, and online speculation are all continuing to move quickly as people wait to see what happens next, whether someone becomes involved or whether the legal process simply continues without interruption. The situation gets even more complicated when several countries are handling separate legal cases at the same time. Andrew Tate has said that the main legal case is still in Romania, and he argues that everything else depends on what happens there first. According to reports describing the process, Romanian officials have said they would extradite him to the UK after the proceedings in Romania are completed. At the same time, Andrew Tate has argued that if the case does not move forward the way prosecutors expect, he believes he cannot be convicted there.
The only girl who's ever accused me is Girl A. Girl A, I'm going to talk about her history in a minute. I go back to house arrest. And finally, because after these 3 years, I've never had a trial. I've never had a chance to present evidence or anything. I've never had a chance to say, oh, by the way, do you know Girl A accused 10 other men of sexual assault? Do you know Girl A accused her father of sexual assault? Do you know Girl A is on psychiatric drugs? Do you know Girl A has been sectioned? Do you know? I don't have a chance. I have the evidence, but I've never had a chance to present it.
What was that last part you said? Girl A has been
Sectioned.
What's that mean?
Taken to a mental institution against her will.
He has also said that he plans to seek a large financial claim against the Romanian authorities if he is ultimately found not guilty. Based on his own explanation, he believes it is not in the Romanian government's interest to bring the case to a final conclusion under those circumstances. His argument is that as long as the proceedings remain open, the situation has not been fully settled. Whether you fully support Andrew Tate or believe the allegations against him are very serious, one point that keeps coming up in online discussions is how long the legal process in Romania has taken. He was first arrested during the COVID period, around the same time his public profile was rising fast, and years later he is still in Romania with the legal proceedings continuing and no final verdict having been reached. Many people online also point to reports that some parts of the legal process have faced delays, while other proceedings have changed or been dismissed. Now, fresh reports this month about another case have added even more attention to the story. Because of all that, some observers believe the legal process could continue for quite some time before everything is finally resolved. That latest development caught a lot of people by surprise. According to recent reports, the newest case involving Andrew Tate refers to roughly 30 to 35 alleged victims and includes allegations of serious financial exploitation. Even with those reported allegations, he has not been taken into custody in connection with that matter, which has sparked even more debate online.
I haven't beaten a trial. I haven't gone to trial and won. No, I've never been to trial ever. Every single nation state which came out with this garbage, which is pushed by George Soros-funded NGOs, has attempted to find evidence to put me in jail. And they never, Romania, England, never found enough evidence to even get to trial. 6 years I've been waiting to prove my innocence, and I have never, ever had a trial. What I've had is accusations. What I've had is Twitter detectives thinking they know more than judges.
People following the case have also pointed out that he has previously spent time under house arrest and has reportedly been required to appear in court more than 100 times as the legal process has continued. Because of that long timeline, the case has remained a constant topic of discussion across social media and in the news. Right now, the main possibility people are discussing is that the Romanian and UK governments could coordinate and agree on a process that allows the UK proceedings to move forward first. That scenario is getting the most attention across social media and in news discussions because it could have a major impact on what happens next. That is why this story keeps pulling in so much attention.
Bringing up decade-old videos saying I said something which was uncouth 10 years ago, but a comedian can make a joke on YouTube pretending he's racist or a cowboy. It doesn't make him racist or a cowboy. YouTube videos are not real. You need victims, you need medical records, you need proof, you need a date, a time, a where, a when. You need people to testify against you. You need evidence. I have never even had a trial ever. And I've been begging my lawyers, get me to trial. Take this to trial. I want to prove I'm innocent. Let's get all the facts out there. Let's go to trial. Let's show that I'm completely innocent from head to toe. And no nation state has ever managed to even get me in court.
It is no longer being viewed as just one legal case. Instead, many people see it as a question of which country gets to move first. how the different legal systems interact, and what decisions each government will make. Some observers have interpreted the Secretary of State's recent comments as a sign that the United States is paying closer attention to the situation. Others believe the bigger question is how long these overlapping legal proceedings can continue before a final outcome is reached. At the same time, the debate keeps returning to the same issue. Andrew Tate continues to describe the situation as a long-running legal battle, while critics argue that the ongoing delays make the overall case appear even more complicated. His supporters, meanwhile, continue to point out that no final outcome has been reached, and that many of the claims and responses remain actively disputed. So when people discuss what could happen next, the conversation is really about timing, legal jurisdiction, and which country will make the next major move. That is the detail many viewers are watching most closely because one official decision could quickly change the direction of the entire story. The number of ways this situation could play out is unusually complicated. One possibility people keep discussing is that two different countries could end up seeking custody of Andrew Tate at different stages of the legal process, creating an even more complex legal situation. One scenario being talked about is that the United States could extradite Andrew Tate to the United Kingdom if legal requirements are met, while Romania could later request that he be returned there so its own legal proceedings can continue.
Kamala admits that we moved the fucking needle. That is a flex, bro. 2025, write it in stone, because they're going to delete everything off the internet. They're going to delete it all off Wikipedia. Write it in stone. Go to Mount Rushmore. Andrew Tate defeated Kamala Harris. He did it. Even though they were putting him in jail, locking him in his house. Guys, don't think when I go out of jail and I was in house arrest, I wasn't told to shut up. Andrew, if you shut up, if you don't say anything, this will all go away. Just wait for the election. Wait for Trump to lose. Wait for Kamala to win, and we'll let you off. All you have to do is sit and be quiet. We'll let you free from your house if you just live a quiet life. No, they raid my house again, drag me back to jail. Still don't shut up. Still fight back. Still fuck you. They tried everything. Unfazed, last bullet, kept going viral. Kamala Harris's whole campaign fucking failed. It failed. It failed because of me. I did it. Me. And she admitted it. She admitted it in black and fucking white. I affected a presidential election. I did.
If that ever happened, it would likely require close coordination between the governments involved and agreement on how the legal process should move forward. That possibility is one of the biggest reasons people are following every new update so closely. His arrest also led some prominent Republicans and other public figures to call for President Trump to become involved. Some supporters of the Tate brothers have described the case as politically motivated and compared it to claims Trump has made about his own legal treatment. However, according to The Telegraph, a U.S. official said the White House would not be involved and that the legal process is expected to continue for months. The official was quoted as saying, "The White House has no involvement and no feelings on the issue." Another detail that has attracted attention involves Kamala Harris. Following her election loss to Donald Trump, reports highlighted comments from her published biography in which she wrote that online figures, including Andrew Tate, who publicly supported Trump, were, in her view, among the factors that contributed to her defeat. That was presented as her own opinion in the biography and has continued to generate discussion online.
They did that. Thank you for the sub 90. The reason that the Tates never criticized Trump is because deep down they were really hoping that Trump would go and save them if they got arrested and if they were called to be extradited to the United Kingdom. Well, look, it didn't work, stupid. Now you're arrested. Trump's not going to save you. All that twerking you did, all that begging you did. Look now. You thought that you could sacrifice your own religion, you could sell out your own people, your own faith, apparently. It didn't even work. Trump's not gonna save you. All that slurping you did. They destroyed their reputation by throwing me under the bus, by saying they have tech teams in Israel. Sneeko did it. Sneeko played the song. Please don't arrest me. Well, now you got arrested, you stupid idiot. You refused to call out Trump, even though he's owned by Jewish supremacists, hoping that he would save you from your extradition to the UK, and he didn't. So you sold out, you destroyed your reputation, you sold out your faith, you threw me under the bus, and you still got arrested. Anybody still defending this too? Now that there's charges of them holding indecent images of a child, I don't know what you have to say about, I don't know how you can keep credibility with them. I don't know if you think this is a Matrix attack. If it was a Matrix attack, wouldn't Elon Musk, the trillionaire, tied up with Mossad and Netanyahu and speaking to Netanyahu regularly by Netanyahu's admission, wouldn't Elon Musk be calling for Tate?
That is why many viewers are now paying close attention to Sneed's recent comments. Someone who once appeared to be on good terms with Andrew Tate is now openly criticizing and mocking him, leading many people online to wonder what changed between them. According to Snead's own remarks, the support surrounding Donald Trump and the political connections Andrew Tate has highlighted over time may not have carried the influence some people expected. In Snead's view, those same circles are not stepping in to support Tate now, and that claim has sparked another wave of debate across social media. Many people have described this part of the story as especially unusual. Even though the situation is now unfolding in the United States, Andrew Tate has continued to be linked in reports to people connected with President Trump. According to several reports, before last week's arrest, the Tate brothers spent several days in Washington, D.C., where they were reportedly hosted by a Trump envoy. They were also reportedly seen around Capitol Hill and, according to online discussions, at one of the city's exclusive private members clubs. According to accounts shared online, the former modeling scout who introduced them to Melania Trump had also invited the Tate brothers to a summer gathering in July 2015.
Because both Andrew and Tristan Tate have spent the last few years trying to build bonds with the Trump administration and even with members of President Donald Trump's own family. For example, the New York Times reported last year that Andrew Tate has been in calls on Zoom with Trump's youngest son, Barron Trump. Donald Trump Jr. also called the charges against the Tate brothers absolute insanity on the social media platform X. That's the original charges from a few years ago. It should be stressed that the two brothers strenuously deny all the charges against them, although they are now facing criminal investigations in both the United Kingdom and Romania. This is kind of a big test for the Trump administration because Donald Trump spent the last election campaign really courting the manosphere. He went on several manosphere-related podcasts with allies of the Tate brothers, and the Tate brothers have kind of boasted about this relationship with Donald Trump. And that's interesting because with this extradition procedure, the ultimate say-so, whether they get extradited or not, is Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who of course works directly for Donald Trump. So this is really a huge test of this supposed relationship between Andrew Tate, the manosphere, and the administration of Donald Trump. So we're really going to be watching to see what happens.
Reports also say it was not clear to those involved what the exact purpose of the trip was, although the individual reportedly spoke with Andrew Tate for about 15 minutes over the course of 2 days. Another detail that has drawn attention is that, according to reports, an Italian-American businessman accompanied the brothers to an exclusive private members event near the White House the night before. The venue is often associated with influential political figures, making that reported visit another point of discussion online. Another name attracting attention in the Andrew Tate story is President Trump's former personal lawyer, who later stepped down as New Jersey's top prosecutor in December. According to reports, during a podcast appearance last January, she told Andrew Tate, "I got your back." Meanwhile, J.D. Vance, who is now the U.S. Vice President, has also been noted by commentators for following both Tate brothers on X. Those details have only added more fuel to the ongoing online debate about their reported political connections. That is one reason the reaction online has remained so intense. People are no longer focused only on the arrest itself. Instead, many are discussing the wider political picture surrounding the case. Some viewers believe the Tate brothers became closely associated with influential political circles, while others argue that too much importance is being placed on those connections and that the speculation has gone far beyond the available facts. No matter which side people take, the conversation continues to grow with every new report and public comment. More public figures keep getting pulled into the discussion, making the story even bigger. Rather than being seen only as a legal matter, many online discussions have expanded into debates about political influence, public loyalty, and whether well-known supporters will speak out or stay silent. Supporters argue that people are reading far too much into the reported connections and that following someone or appearing at the same events does not prove influence over legal proceedings.
James Uthmeyer.
Okay.
Ulfmeyer, something like this. So he opened an investigation into me the second I land as an American citizen, saying that I'm a human trafficker and I'm a bad person and all this garbage. I expected to come home to a fucking hero's welcome. And I did a podcast with Candace Owens about that because even she said, this is insane. You know what he did? He wrote to the Brits saying, do you want me to arrest him and send him to you? You got an active warrant. Do you want me to send him to you? I'll come get him and send him to you. He wrote to the Brits. And I'm sitting in Florida in Miami and I refuse to leave. So I keep tweeting, come get me, Ron. Come get me, James. Come get me. Come get me. Come get me. Because Jack, I've lost my mind. I finally get free from this fucking mess. I come back to the country my father served for. And they fucking open a case on me and start saying I'm a human trafficker. Why? Because Romania said so, the country that can't even have an election? And now we're gonna repeat what they said like it means a fucking thing? I come to Florida where I'm suing girl A, and I'm attacked by the state? And I did a podcast with Candace on it because I was so flabbergasted. That piece of shit writes to the Brits.
Critics, however, believe the public perception alone is enough to keep the story in the headlines. As attention keeps building, many people are now watching to see whether anyone linked to these circles publicly steps forward, or whether the silence becomes the biggest talking point of all. One reason Andrew Tate is said by some politicians and commentators to be strongly opposing extradition is the level of criticism he has faced in the United Kingdom. Over time, a number of MPs and other public figures have publicly criticized the messages and views they say he promotes online, keeping the debate around him in the spotlight. He has also been the subject of calls from some campaigners and public figures to limit his influence in schools, adding even more attention to the controversy. Many observers describe the reaction to him in the UK as especially strong, which is why every new legal development continues to attract so much public interest.
After I called out Elon Musk for platforming extremism, Tate's followers immediately descended on me with a flood of abuse and harassment. That was not random. That was a deliberate attempt to silence an elected representative. I was bombarded with death threats, rape jokes and abuse from accounts both local and international. Then, the Tate brothers themselves came after me. Two men running from the most serious criminal charges, propped up by the world's most powerful leaders. And they targeted me, an elected representative from Northern Ireland, for daring to speak my mind. Shocking. It wasn't even about them. It was about Musk. But it was a calculated attempt to silence an elected politician. I was, in their words, a nice target. A direct attack on democracy and this House itself. But this is not just about individuals. It is about democracy. We have seen a deliberate, organised effort to create an online environment where extremism flourishes, where intimidation becomes the norm, and where women, minorities and political opponents are driven out of public life.
One reason Andrew Tate is said by some politicians and commentators to be strongly opposing extradition is the level of criticism he has faced in the United Kingdom. Over time, a number of MPs and other public figures have publicly criticized the messages and views they say he promotes online, keeping the debate around him in the spotlight. He has also been the subject of calls from some campaigners and public figures to limit his influence in schools, adding even more attention to the controversy. Many observers describe the reaction to him in the UK as especially strong, which is why every new legal development continues to attract so much public interest. For now, the legal proceedings are still unfolding, and many key questions remain unanswered. With new reports, public reactions, and court developments continuing to emerge, this story could change again at any moment. As always, the final outcome will depend on the legal process and any official decisions that follow. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future updates, and share this video with anyone following the story. We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below with your opinion on everything that's happening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.